What up, all my fight fans? This past weekend we had UFC 299, and it was one hell of an event, guys. From top to bottom, the card did not disappoint, and I'm here to break it all down with you guys. I'm very excited to talk about this fight. We had some really good fights on there, so let's get started, shall we? In the main event, you had the Bantamweight King, Sean O'Malley, defending his Bantamweight Championship in a rematch against Marlon Chito Vera. And when I say Sean O'Malley put on a clinic, he put on a boxing clinic. I mean, he pretty much took apart Chito Vera from top to bottom. You know, Chito Vera had some success here and there, but nothing. He just could not answer the length. He could not answer the boxing. He could not answer the kicks of Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley was just on point all night. I mean, he did not get the finish. He did not get the stoppage or anything like that, but it was still one hell of a performance by Sean O'Malley. You know, and you got to give respects to Chito Vera. Chito Vera and his chin, oh my God, he took on some shots. He really did. He took on some real punishment, especially that knee. I can't remember what round it was, but he got a knee. It sounded like a ball hitting an aluminum bat, and he did not go anywhere. So props to Chito Vera for taking shots. Sean O'Malley, again, looked great from top to bottom. It's crazy because if that fight would have went one more round, I feel like Chito Vera would have got that finish, because at the end of the day, you look at that body shot that Chito Vera landed in the last seconds of the last round. You know, Sean O'Malley had to take a seat, and he openly said it. He said, hey, I had to sit down. He got me with a really good body shot. And that's cool. That's really cool when someone admits, like, hey, I got clipped. He connected with me. So that's really awesome when they do that. But at the end of the day, Sean O'Malley retains his belt, and Chito Vera, I'm sure he'll be back sooner rather than later. But let's talk about the future for these guys. You got Sean O'Malley, who is the champion of the bantamweight, a stacked division, and you got the number one contender, Merab Dvalishvili. He's been barking around. He's been making a name for himself. He's been doing his thing in the bantamweight division, taking on all comers. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. I'm very much looking forward to it. Not sure when it's going to transition, but that has to be your next bantamweight championship fight. Sean O'Malley versus Merab. On the other hand, you got Chito Vera. You got Chito Vera, who is still a big name in the division, who holds a real big star power in Ecuador. And you have quite a few names on there that he could go against. You got guys like Peter Yan, who fought on that night. We'll get to that in a little bit later. You got, of course, Corey Sandhagen. I believe he already had fought him. You got Henry Cejudo. So there really is no shortage on names for Chito Vera. So I'm sure he'll find somebody to fight, and I'm sure he'll be back. Next fight in the co-main event. Oh my God, what a fight that was! You had Saint Denis taking on Dustin Poirier. Saint Denis pretty much looked like he belonged in that top 5 class of the lightweights. Saint Denis took it to Dustin Poirier and gave Dustin Poirier all he can handle in that first round. I really thought it was going to be a short night for Dustin Poirier. I'm a big fan of Dustin Poirier, but I really felt like with the grappling, with the insane amount of boxing, with all the things that he was doing to Dustin Poirier, I really did not see Dustin Poirier getting out of this one. It really looked like it was a bit too much. But in that second round, where Dustin Poirier was in trouble, his coaches constantly told him, no guillotine, no guillotine. And he constantly went for that guillotine. And it always looked like he was going to get in trouble each time he went for that guillotine. But, at the end of the day, Dustin Poirier is a vet. Dustin Poirier has been in there with the best, and he was able to withstand the punishment that he was taking. And he got back up and was able to clip Saint Denis in that second round and stopping him with a little bit of a ground and pound. So that was one hell of a knockout for Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is definitely one of the best lightweights in the world today. Saint Denis, he'll be back. He's still young in the game. This was a big test for him, but I'm sure, he earned a lot of respect from a lot of people in the lightweight division, and I'm sure he definitely will be back. Again, just like the bantamweight division, there's no shortages on names for these guys. So you got Dustin Poirier, who is a big star in the division, but right now it seems like as far as star power goes, there really isn't a whole lot going on. You got Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Who knows where that fight's going to be at, whether it's going to be a welterweight or lightweight or even middleweight. Hell, there's been so much up and down with that. Then, of course, you got Justin Gaethje, who is possibly the number one contender to fight Islam Makhachev. He does not want to fight anybody else but Islam Makhachev, the champion. You got Charles Oliveira, who's taking on Arman Tsarukyan in UFC 300. So, yeah, there is a little bit of a logjam in the lightweight division for Dustin Poirier, so not quite sure what he is going to do just now. He still has some time. He just fought, so give him a couple of months and let this whole lightweight division work itself out, and we'll go from there. As far as Saint Denis goes, again, you got a lot of options out there. You got Rafael dos Anjos. You got Gamrot. You got all kinds of great names out there that he could potentially face to get himself in the winning circle again. Um, Again, the top five is kind of lock jammed up, but again, there's quite a few names out there that he could go against. There's just unlimited names. It's like the second best class in the UFC right now is the lightweight division. So these guys will definitely find somebody to fight, and these guys will definitely find somebody to work their way to the title shot eventually. Also on the card, you had the highly anticipated debut of MVP Michael Venom Page taking on Kevin Holland. Michael Venom Page is going to be a problem for the welterweight division. Michael Venom Page pretty much was able to do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted to Kevin Holland. He frustrated the hell out of Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland just could not find Michael Venom Page with those slick feet, with those quick cat-like reflexes. His quick feet, his quick hands. I mean, Michael Venom Page was just all over that octagon, and he was clowning Kevin Holland nonstop. We thought Kevin Holland was going to put up a little bit more of a fight, but even Kevin Holland in the ending of the first round, he even told his coaches he's a lot faster than we thought. And yes, he is. He is very, very quick, and very fast with his feet too, and also had some really good ground techniques as well. Because you look at Kevin Holland, he was trying his best to take MVP to the ground, but he just couldn't. He couldn't. MVP has some really, really ground wrestling defense. He has some really good on his back defense. He's really, really good all around. He is not just your basic karate point fighter or even a kickboxer. He's a really good all around MMA fighter. But his bread and butter is his stand up. That goes without saying. But at the end of the day, MVP pretty much got the victory, the unanimous decision. Kevin Holland had some success on the ground in that second round where he was able to get him down, landed a couple elbows. But at the end of the day, it was just 100% MVP all day. So as far as the welterweight division goes, another stacked division. I mean, endless options for these guys. Of course, we know Kevin Holland. He's already fought some of the guys in the welterweight division, and I'm sure he will be back. I'm sure he'll find somebody else out there. There's quite a few names like Gilbert Burns, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, even though they already fought, Jack Della Maladeta. We're going to get into those in a little bit. But yeah, there's quite a few names out there. Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad, and that's where we get him with MVP. He can mix things up because Kevin Holland was ranked 13th. MVP was not ranked at all. So, MVP could be ranked up there in the top 10. So I would like to see him against somebody else. And personally, I think a lot of us would agree, we would like to see him against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. That would actually be a very fun fight. Both karate fighters, both karate point fighters, I should say, both really good at their stand-up, not necessarily all about wrestling and such. So yeah, I would definitely love to see these two guys match it up for sure. It would be a really fun, great fight for us. Also on the card, you had, speaking of Jack Della Maladeta, you had Jack and Gilbert Burns going toe-to-toe. Now, Gilbert Burns, it looked like he was pretty much doing his thing. He was really able to mix things up in that first round. He had some trouble in that second round, I believe it was. He was just utilizing his wrestling. It was just for Jack. He has some really great boxing. He has some really good stand-up. He was really pressuring Gilbert, but Gilbert was answering really good with his veteran skills, with his wrestling, with his jiu-jitsu. It was really hard for Jack to get off, in the first couple of rounds. It was really difficult because, of course, the experience makes all the difference in the world. But in that last round, he really hurt Gilbert Burns. He really, really wobbled Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns had to do nothing. What he had to do was to hang on because he knew he was so hurt from some of Jack's shots that he had to pretty much hold for dear life. Other than that, because he couldn't really do much. He was just hanging on Jack. Gilbert really didn't do much in that last round. And then finally, when Jack was able to get loose and Gilbert went for another shot because he knew that he was hurt and he still needed to get Jack to the ground, Jack was able to land a clear-cut knee and pretty much stop Gilbert Burns. I don't believe Gilbert Burns has ever been stopped, and to my knowledge, I would have to look in the books again, but still a great stoppage for Jack. Now, again, we just mentioned about the welterweight division. These guys are also part of that welterweight division, and there's a lot of great contenders in that welterweight division. So, again, Jack is up there, I believe. And Gilbert Burns was top 4. So now he's definitely right there, top 5, top 4 for sure. So you could possibly see him against Bilal Muhammad. You could possibly see him against Colby Covington and all these other great challengers. Or even the one guy he actually called out, which is Shavkat Rakhmonov, a guy that nobody calls out, a guy that nobody wants. And he's calling him out, Jack is. So that would be a great fun fight too. Jack wants that shot. Jack wants to be able to show what he's capable of doing, and doing that against Shavkat Rakhmonov is definitely the way to go. as far as Gilbert Burns go, he'll be back. He's a veteran. You know, he is a little bit older veteran, and he's been around the game for a little bit, but I'm sure he'll be back. He still has a lot left in the tank. I'm sure he can do a lot more within the welterweight division, that's for sure. Also on the card, and the very last fight, you had Petr Yan taking on Song Yadong. And this was in, again, another stacked division. Of course, well, the stacked division, bantamweights. Petr Yan was pretty much able to do what he was able to do in the second and third round. You know, Song Yadong looked really great in that first round. He was able to land quite a few good shots, utilize some of his great strengths that he has against the cage and some of his grappling techniques. But once Petr Yan was able to download Song Yadong's method, he pretty much was able to do whatever you needed to do with him as well. He didn't get no stoppage or anything like that, but it was still a great fight and a great performance for Petr Yan to get back in the winning circle. You know, you got to remember, Petr Yan has not won a fight in the last 3 fights. So this is his first fight winning, and I'm sure eventually he wants to get the title shot. So what's next for these guys? What's next for Petr Yan? Well, Chito Vera just lost his fight with Sean O'Malley, and I definitely would like to see these two guys mix it up. That would be a very fun fight for sure. Or quite possibly a rematch with, excuse me, not a rematch, a fight with Pedro Munoz. You know, you got still Henry Cejudo out there. There's so many options for Petr Yan for sure to take on to get himself right back into title contention for sure. So guys, there you have it. UFC 299. It was great. Check it out. Check out the highlights on YouTube. Great nights of fights. Please check them out. Let me know in the comments what do you think about the fights. Let me know in the comments what do you think about the decisions. Let me know what you feel. What was your favorite fight? Just let me know in the comments, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.